What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit the notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are diving into the death of Doctor Strange, issue number 3. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well at the top of this video. It will get you caught up on everything going on with the death of Doctor Strange up to this point. And what we have seen, with Doctor Strange now being dead, we also see Earth's magic barrier that warded off the other dimensional threats. And now, the planet is being occupied by kingdoms from across all realities. But they are not invading, they are fleeing. They are fleeing from the three mothers and the child. And we have seen the Avengers already go against the three mothers, being absolutely no match for them. They have plans to return with the child so he can devour anything that he wants from this realm. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 3, we are picking up at Avengers Mountain in the North Pole. And currently we have Jane Foster and our more or less time-capsulated Doctor Strange. A Doctor Strange who only has 1 week to live. Because what Doctor Strange did is he took his lifespan, he took 1 week out of it in case something ever happens to him. In case something surrounding his death is very peculiar, he has himself to come up and be able to solve this crime. And so that's exactly what we are seeing transpire here. And what we have going on is the autopsy of Doctor Strange. And before all of this begins, she thinks she has to bring up the point and bring up the fact that she saved him. Not that long ago, she saved him from the Grim Reaper. Though it's not really the real Grim Reaper. More or less a costume idiot, a dead one, but nonetheless, something that Jane Foster had saved him from. And now to see him dead right here on the table, it's really hard for her to fathom all of this. Not only that, because he's standing directly in front of her as well. And though, everybody in the Marvel Universe, they've seen so much stuff, but this is still pretty mind-boggling. Now, while all of that is going on, we have the estranged wife Clea married to Doctor Strange. She found herself fleeing the purple dimension. And that is because of the three mothers and the child, letting everybody know that they come from beyond the outer planes. 3 warrior queens of unknown lands, carving their way across the dimensions. An army of 3 with one goal of being sheer annihilation. And so far, land after land has fallen to them. No king or queen could stand against them. No warlord, no warlocks, no wizards. Entire armies were laid waste, and the need to satisfy the child's hunger. And going into more detail about the child, she lets us know that the child is essentially hunger itself. It hungers for magic, being the apex predator of the magical food chain, and it has a thirst for magic that can never be quenched. And of course, its favorite prey is powerful beings of magic, like the warlords, like Clea, and like Doctor Strange. Now, as it stands, no one knows the origin of the child. Some claim that it is not a creature at all, but the feeder excursion of the 9th dimension hyper creature. The only part of it our minds can actually perceive in material space. But the mothers are its vanguard, tracking down powerful magical beings so that it might feed. And while she tells all of this to the Avengers, this is where Doctor Strange walks into the room. And he lets her know that all of the pieces, they are finally beginning to fall into place. And he lets us know that powerful magic was brought to bear to bring him down that night. But it was no mere murder. His hands were taken, but this was not mere brutality, it was an act of ritual theft. His soul has been stolen, and with it, his power and the power allowed to be the Sorcerer Supreme. And without his soul passing on, and without the magic of the Sorcerer Supreme dissipating back into the ether, there can be no new Sorcerer Supreme. And with no Sorcerer Supreme, that means that the child will eventually make his way here so he can hunt. But they have to ask, why would the warlords come here, to the realm of their enemies? Now, Wong believes that it is all so they can have some kind of distraction while the child feeds. They can just jump from dimension to dimension, outrunning them the entire time. And so them fleeing here, thinking that the X-Men, the Avengers, might protect them, it has made Earth one of the prime targets for the three mothers. And Doctor Strange lets them all know that he hopes that they can find a way to fight against all of this, that he deeply regrets leaving all of this mess in the wake of his death. And currently, London is blacked out, and the X-Men with it. China has reportedly tried to nuke some of these warlord nations. It appears all over the world, tensions are extremely high with these new warlords making their ground all over the world. But the Sorcerer Supreme, the one thing that he must do is restore the office of the Sorcerer Supreme. He now knows the why to his death. What remains is the how and the who. Now that is what takes us to the Sanctum, with Doctor Strange and his wife that he doesn't really know yet. They don't really have any kind of relationship or anything like that. And so for him, and we can only assume for her as well, this has got to be a very awkward situation. But what Clea does is has one of her spirits go around and look for something that Doctor Strange has lost. Something that he is going to need in his hunt for the murderer of himself. And so while our spirit goes and searches the entirety of the world, the two of them, they have a minute to sit down and talk. And what Clea lets us know is that not long ago, Doctor Strange made her forget all about him. They had overcome their problems. They had found again what had brought them together in the first place. That place where two souls overlap. They had everything once again, but it appears that Doctor Strange had stolen every memory from her, made himself a stranger to her. Now, of course, he had his reasons. He had to pay the devil for helping rebuild the universe. And it's definitely not something that he did willingly, and it's definitely not something that he did lightly. But then he died, and with his death, all of those memories, they came flooding back to her. The devil restored every single one of those memories, with her never being able to talk to Doctor Strange again. She now lives and mourns in the death of her husband, one that she had forgotten about for quite some time, and now never being able to touch him again. But now, standing before her is a fragment of Doctor Strange. Not only that, it's a version of Doctor Strange that she first fell in love with. The arrogant, the brilliant, really helping her understand why they first fell in love to begin with. But this Doctor Strange has no idea who she is. And he lets her know that after all of the pain that he has seen in the individuals that cared about him, after witnessing exactly what she is going through, that the worst of it is the knowledge that he has lived to be a fool, because a man who had her heart and lost it, he could not be called anything else but that. And with that, we see Clea go in and give him a kiss, with him saying that this cannot be. While she may be a brilliant, beautiful woman, he is not the man that she grieves for. At least not yet. It would be unfair for him to take advantage of this situation. And both of them agreeing that it's probably a bad idea, they separate only for the spirit to come into the room and let us know that she has found the Eye of Agamotto and the Cloak of Levitation. And they are currently being held at a place called Castle Mordo. And that is what will bring us to the mountains of Transylvania. Not only that, we go to the dominion of Warlord Dagoth, and we're seeing two events currently transpire. The Warlord Dagoth is having an invasion happen right now. That invasion is from the Three Mothers. They have made their way here to this warlord, and they have come to take his power back to the child. And while all of that is happening, we have Doctor Strange making his attack on Castle Mordo, and he is going through all of these forces. He knows that Mordo is here. Now, Mordo has never been enough to go after Doctor Strange directly, but he would borrow the power. Now, he thought maybe at first it was Dormammu's power, but it's not his magic that he smelt. When he did the autopsy on his body, his third eye was able to perceive the magical signatures of several powerful beings, and that is from each of the warlords who have now found Earth to be their safe haven. Because what Mordo did is he borrowed all of their power. All four mighty warlords sold his soul again and again just so he could watch Doctor Strange die. He simply could not help himself. Now, while Doctor Strange is doing everything he can to find out where Mordo is, we see the three mothers. They are taking down Dagoth. As he calls out to all of his friends, the three mothers let him know that there is nobody coming for him. Doctor Strange screaming out at the top of his lungs, letting Mordo know that after all of this time, he is surprised that he has not killed him yet, but he has every intention of changing that. And when we see one of the warlords being offered up to the child, we are getting our first glimpse of what the child really looks like. Having a ginormous head, tentacles, but appearing to have arms, appearing to be some kind of sentient being. And at Castle Mordo, we have him hiding behind a door, grabbing onto the eye, grabbing onto the cloak, terrified that he is about to lose all of this power. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, I really have been enjoying the death of Doctor Strange. Now, we have seen a lot of deaths lately. The death of this person, the death of that person. We have a lot of resurrection, a lot of ways to bring people back. We know comic books, if somebody dies, there's usually a chance of bringing them back. But by all accounts, it does look like Doctor Strange is dead. And they're going to keep playing on that at least until the end of this series. Now, we're going to see how it all plays out. We're going to see if Doctor Strange is really going to be dead. But at the end of the day, we all know if someone dies in a comic books, give it a couple months and they will be right back at it. But the idea of Doctor Strange dying, him taking a part of his life as literal life insurance, taking 7 days out of his life so that he can place it and use it when he needs it. He's almost going Lord Voldemort on us. And of course it is Mordo. Of course it's him. He's always the one behind these. He is always the one striving to take down Doctor Strange. And because Doctor Strange has never permanently put him down, he fears that it might be his downfall as well as all of humanity. Because the child is right on the brink of invasion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.